Hello stamping friends. Today I want to show you this wall art, if you would. I created it using my digital studio and some designer series papers, some brads, some buttons, punches. So it has a little bit of everything on here, and I put this in a frame. I just got some frames from the dollar store, and everybody who came to my clubs this month, all my customers got one. I thought it was a nice gift, and I thought it was something that was easy for them to make and something different, not just a card. Let me show you what I did. Whoops. First of all, I created my template using my digital studio. These are actually punches in the digital software, and I filled them with the kaleidoscope papers. I really did it just to have a design, a plan, okay? Rather than everybody in class trying to match them up and get them in a straight line, they can just attach them to the squares. I did use some digital stamps: inspire others, dream, cherish, create, and go confidently in the direction of your dreams. So like I said, I created this in the software. I printed this at home on my printer on Whisper white paper, and you'll notice that some of my little triangles or my punches are cut off because of the print area in the software itself, but that's okay because it's going to go under a frame. I've started adding the pieces on here, and I wanted to share with you how easy it is to do this, okay? I'm going to fill in this little square right here. I used the 2.5 inch circle punch to punch out my papers, and since I was preparing it for a class, I did, I kind of did mass producing. I punched them all ahead of time because I didn't want anybody waiting on one punch, and I didn't want to buy a punch for everybody. So your designer series papers has two sides. I took a 1.5 inch square, and figuring out the dimensions was probably the hardest part of this project, but once I did it, I laid the square in the center, and then I just creased it, folded it around my square like this. Okay, and then I pulled out my pattern, and now I have my little folded piece of paper. I'm using a glue stick that Stampin' Up sells, all right? And I really like our glue sticks because they are square or, rectangle, so I'm able to kind of get into the corners a little bit. And all I did was just scribble the glue on my square, and then I just placed this on here, pressed it down a bit, whoops, and it slid, whoops, pressed it down a little bit, and when I was testing this glue, I created my sample one, and then I just set it up on the table for probably about 3 or 4 days just to make sure that nothing would fall off. So the glue stick works really well for that. It's an economical glue, an economical adhesive, and you can have one for everybody in the class. The next thing I did was I added some of the vintage brads, and I took a paper piercer, and all I did was hold up the paper and poke a hole like that, and then I grabbed a brad, grab one of these, and then I just stuck it through, open up the back like this. Okay, so that's how you do that. I used glue dots for my buttons, and I used, these are actually the Brights collection. You can pick any buttons that you have laying around and use those as well. I used our mini glue dots, and I like to take the glue dots off using a pair of snips. I just keep them closed. And I want this button right here, and just stick it down. The reason that I put a button there instead of one of my paper samplers is because of how it's going to go in the frame. You don't want to put paper on these two, the folded papers on these two, because they're going to get caught in that frame when you go to put it in the frame itself. So what do I want to do here? I took and punched out some butterflies, and I'm going to use a glue dot again. I'm going to put it right in the center because I want my butterfly flying. Okay, so I kind of have her off there a little bit, and make sure that you put your butterfly away from the edge so it doesn't get caught in that frame. And then all of my scrap papers that I had a good section of these, so I kept them all, of course. And I'm using the smaller butterfly punch that coordinates with the larger one. And I'm just going to come in here and punch out. And then I'm going to get another glue dot, just because my butterfly is little, so it's just easier for me to use a glue dot. And then I'm going to lay that right on there. Okay. We need a little bit of bling, so we have some rhinestones. And I decided that 1, 2, 3 rhinestones, if I come in here and cut them, and then lift these off with my snips, like that, I can put that on the body of the butterfly. And now we have some bling. We love bling, okay? I also wanted to put in some flowers inside some of my squares. So I used the flower punch, and I punched out just the 3 flower pieces all in the crushed curry cardstock. Going to use my glue stick and put that on my paper. And then I think I want it in here. You'll notice I already have a dimensional on there. I'm going to stick my fingernail in there and get that backing off. And then I'm going to take the next layer that I've also added a dimensional on and push that down, get that backing off. And then I'm going to take my last flower piece and lay it down. And so now I have a 3D flower, but it's kind of boring, so it needs a little bit more bling. And I think I'm going to use a bigger rhinestone and put that on there. Okay. I also use some of the vintage buttons, and we need some more glue dots. And I'm going to add that one over here. It's just, everybody's will look different, but it's just kind of fun to just add your embellishments and create your own personal sampler to hang up in your craft room. I hope you enjoyed this project. Oh, I just realized I forgot something. I did add some ribbon. I love this stretchy ruffle ribbon. And all I did to make it easy, because with it being ruffled, it is a little bit harder to tie into a bow. So I just tied a knot. Trim that off a little bit. And added a glue dot. Put that over here. And then just stick my bow on. So now we have a little bit of ribbon on there as well. Okay, I think that's it. Enjoy, make one, have fun. I'll see you next time.